In the last video, we stripped everything off the trailer. Today, we're gonna start trying to put stuff back. Got our floorboards painted. They were able to sit here and dry. We got a little bit of painting to do on this frame, and then we're gonna put the floorboards in and start working on the walls. Got to grab any kind of breakfast or lunch today other than coffee. You always have to get that. So I'm getting some Boston butt. On this build, part of what I want to do is inspire others. We had always wanted to travel, and we had talked, my wife and I had talked for 10 years about wanting to go out west. We live in Middle Tennessee. She was from Arkansas. When we first got married, I'd been to a few more, but I think she'd been to like 3 states, and just right there around Arkansas. And so we wanted to travel, wanted to be able to see a lot of the amazing, beautiful things that our nation has to offer. And we just kept talking about it in like a dream-like sense, because man, it'd be cool, but I can't imagine how much money that would cost. There's no possible way we could do that. And so we would do these little vacations, you know, here and there. But that was just the dream. And for whatever reason, last year, when we built our little shed camper thing, it just, you know, the idea hit me, and I thought, well, I wonder why you couldn't. And so we did the whole trip, 6,000 plus miles in 21 days with a family of 5. For right at just a little less than $5,000. And that included the camper build, that included all of our stays, that included all of our food, that included everything we did. And it's $5,000, so if you're like us, and maybe you are and maybe you're not, but for us, $5,000 is nothing to sneeze at. We notice if that goes missing from our budget, but at the same time, it's not like insane. I know people who have went to Disney World for less than a week and spent $10,000, $15,000. And so it's money, obviously, but part of what I want to do with this is show what's possible, because I didn't really record any of that. If you use some outside of the box thinking, innovation. I do have a background in construction, that helps. I know nothing about RVs, and I know nothing about like working with metal and welding and stuff like that. That's all beyond me. And so you're fixing to see, I'm gonna use 2x4 framing on this trailer. Not because it's the best thing to do framing with for an RV. It'll work, but it's heavy or heavier than, you know, aluminum or something like that. But because it's what I know and it's what I understand. And I've already proved once on our last build that it holds up. We did, like I said, 6,000 miles and had no issues from it. So as long as everything is tied together well and it's attached to the frame well, you're good. So one of the big things is, though, if your goal, like ours, was to be able to see a lot of amazing, beautiful things, and you don't have the money to do it in a 40-foot RV, pulling a big trailer, then you can do it. You just have to take and slightly lower the scales. If you want a 5-star hotel experience, you're not going to get that with this. And this is going to be way nicer than our last one. Our last one was literally, is a shed on wheels. And I had put a solid bunk across the top. Kids had a place to sleep. We were underneath it, threw a mattress in the bottom. We ran off of coolers and water bottles and had a little portable, which we'll probably use that in here, a little portable grill. But it worked. And so we were able to keep our expenses super low. About every 3 days or so, we'd swing by Walmart and stock up on groceries and ice and roll. And so it works. I'm excited about this one. It's going to be a bit different, like I said, than the other one. For one, it's going to be more than just a shed. And two, we're trying to set this one up. That one, we knew that when we got back home, it was going to be a shed and I needed my utility trailer back. So we was kind of limited on what we wanted to put money-wise into it as far as RV amenities, because it wasn't going to stay as an RV. This is something we hope to keep and use as an RV for many years to come, and we're really looking forward to it. I'm excited about it, and I think it's going to be fun. All right, progress is happening. Got the floor down, and I need to come back and put a few more bolts in it and tie it to the frame a little better, just to be sure. It'd probably be fine like it is now, but I don't want any doubts on something I'm gonna be driving down the road at 65, 70 miles an hour. That's not the time when I wanna find out, oh, I should have put another bolt or two in. Floor is essentially done. Now it's just onto the walls. It would be really nice to have a nice big concrete shop, level floor and all of that, but you can get things done without it. So if you're thinking about doing one of these builds, don't let that discourage you. Do your best, you can still make something cool. Another day back at it again, working on it when we have time. Gonna see if we can finish up the framing today. Hopefully get that done and maybe even get some paneling on the walls. You know what they say, measure once, cut twice. So you've heard the saying, buy once, cry once. There's merit to it. But I think there's a bit of limits, or guidelines rather. This is a Harbor Freight air gun. You can see I got a nail all jammed up in there. I forget what it cost me, 90 bucks, 100 bucks or something like that, 5 years ago. If you do a ton, my rule on stuff is, if you do a ton of work with it, you use whatever the thing is all the time, you're trying to be professional, whatever the case is, then spend some money, buy good equipment. However, if you use something very rarely, for me, I'll use this nail gun maybe a half a dozen times a year. And so it just didn't make sense to me to go buy a $400 nail gun when this one has worked for that long. So if you don't use it all the time, oil it up. That's how you fix it. We're good to go now. And back at it. Battery was dying, so I had to shut it off. Check that out. We've got a roof. You can see we've also put a skylight on it already. Can you see? Maybe you can see. Got a roof, working on the walls. All right, well, that's a wrap for today. We got some cleanup to do and obviously got more work to do on the camper. I bet you didn't notice there's holes in it. What do you think we are going to cover the outside with? I know what it is, but I'm wondering if you have ideas yet, or if you're still curious, or you may not give a rip. Either way, glad you watched, hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace. Well, it's an early morning. I've got my Jocko greens, and once I've downed my liquid courage, we'll be ready to go. Got to make a quick supply list. You can't even see the camper. We got a little bit more done before I had to call it quits the last time. I've got all day to spend with it today, so we're gonna see how much we can get done. I mentioned in one of the earlier videos, maybe both of them, that our family took a huge 6,000 mile road trip in a camper we spent $600 on, etc. This one is not going to be that cheap. In fact, to be honest, we're spending more money on it than I had first kind of set up and planned to do. Part of the reason for that is we were gonna go buy a 10-foot pop-up camper frame and essentially do kind of what we did the last time. But with it being 14 foot, we have extra room, and which will be nice, I feel like, in the end. And the toilet being in there, some of the other fixtures being in there, the sink, kind of got us thinking like, well, it would be really nice to have those features. And we plan on using this particular camper for a long time, not just a single trip and then turning it into a shed. You know, we plan on leaving this, it's gonna be our camper. So we're like, okay, well, we'll spend some more money. And this is dumb on my part, without actually sitting down and figuring, okay, so exactly what are we going to need and exactly what is it going to cost? And so I just kind of had a number in my head, like, it'd be probably about there. And we are already over that number, and we are not finished yet. So we'll see how this turns out by the time we get done. It's going to be fine, all things considered, but we are going to spend more than I'd originally planned. At the same time, part of that, like I said, is due to the fact that, one, it's bigger than I'd planned. That doesn't change it a whole lot. The main thing that changes it is we're adding in features and fixtures that we'd not originally planned on doing. All right, here's where we're at. We have a fully enclosed camper build. I should say except for the door. So haven't got that part done yet. Got a skylight put in. So progress is being made. So here is a problem I have. My walls, I'm on 16, my studs are 16-inch on centers, but there's just a little bit of flex in here because I'm using 1/4-inch plywood. And so I'm fixing to go install some braces along the way. One, that will help just give more rigidity to the wall as a whole, and two, it will solve that problem. Sometimes you just need to let the light shine in. So I made a window. All right, so first, the positives. We have installed, at least for the most part, something that is known as PMF, or poor man's fiberglass. And right now, it looks like absolute garbage. I've never messed with this before, and so we're trying it out on this build. And it's supposed to be something that, well, like fiberglass, essentially, once you finish it. So, obviously right now we ain't there yet, so got a long way to go. On the inside, this is where we're at. That's it for today. I may include a little bit of conversation with my wife. She was helping me on this poor man's fiberglass run. It did not go like one I expected, or two like just about everybody on YouTube kind of shows it to be. It is really difficult to work with. And so if you was doing it on a small project, you might be fine. On a 14-foot 3-inch by 7-foot 1-inch by 6.5-foot tall camper, it's a pain in the tail. So we are on our way to Murfreesboro. Mama, what do you think of the whole PMF build?
Never doing it again.
I feel very much the same.
We're covered in glue all over our hands. It ruined my clothes that I was in. I think Devon's clothes as well. It's just sticky. It's a mess. It's not worth doing it again, but we got it done, and I just pray that it works.
So, like I said, and I don't disagree with any of that, I think if you were ever wanting to do something similar and you wanted to do like a teardrop camper, I think it'd probably work great. Something real simple, real small. What it does is once you put your so the process is this: you apply Tight Bond 2 wood glue. And you can do this to wood paneling or even foam if you wanted to keep it super lightweight, again, for like a small camper. And then you put painter's canvas over it and press everything down tight, and then you apply more of that glue and you work it to try to get to a smooth finish and paint it. But trying to do something as big as what we were doing,
and when it's really tall on the ground and you're only 5'2" and have a 4-foot son helping you, it's kind of hard.
Is very difficult for sure. So we are getting it done, but that particular part of the process did not go as planned. If I had it to do over, I wouldn't do it. I'd go with metal or something else. Seemed like a neat idea, wanted to try it, and like I said, I think it probably would work great for something small. For something as big as what we're doing, I hadn't seen anybody try it with anything that big, and so I knew it was a bit of a gamble, but it's not one I would take again. So anyways, we are going to continue the process, and I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.